Do you need some help with your meal planning process? Or do you just enjoy watching others and getting ideas from others in how they meal plan? If so, this video is for you because I have a process that I use and have been pretty consistent with for about the last 6 to 8 months. And I find that when I do this, it helps so much. It helps in the reduction of waste, so I'm not wasting groceries, and it just helps me feel better because I feel like I'm using up what I have and I'm able to buy new because I've been efficient in my meal planning. And when you find something that works, you want to share it with others. So that's why I'm sharing this process. I'm hoping it helps and gives you some inspiration. One of the first things I always do is I empty the fridge, and I usually go through the main 2 shelves and the drawers to go through the items I have to evaluate what's going bad, what needs to be used up first, and I kind of organize the fridge in different sections. We'll get to those sections in a minute, but here is a prime example of why I do this first step of my process. 5 mayonnaises. 5. There's a baby registry card in my fridge. I'm not making this up. There is a baby list registry at babylist.com, and I know why. I did a baby shower and I made a lot of appetizers and things, and it probably got stuck to something and went in the fridge, but still, that's weird. I'm showing you more examples of how I do this first step every single time. It just works so well for me. As you can see, I've been very consistent with this first step, and I find this step the most crucial in my entire process. Okay, that's step 1. My second step is to clean everything down once I have everything off the shelves and onto my island. So what I do is I put the things that have to be eaten first on this shelf and things that have a little more shelf life up here. Pickles, of course, can last quite a while. I also usually put our yogurts and such here. This is why you need a see-through container for your eggs. I did not realize that they had taken out 3 of the eggs of these 18 pack, which is fine, but if it were more, that would have been bad because I already ordered eggs based off of this being a full container. So 3 is okay, but this is why I love this see-through drawer for our eggs. Not only do I have sections of my fridge, I also have sections of my island when I pull everything out. When I pull everything out, I review it here. Things that are on the brink, like I'm not sure I'm gonna eat that, but my husband might, because he is not as squeamish about how long leftovers could go. I am. Mine's like 1 to 2 days after. His could be who knows how long. So I put it over on that section of the island for him to review and evaluate. Then I have another section of the island where I put the items that need to be processed, things that I can get ready and prep for the week or for that day for my family. So that's the prep station, that's the evaluation station, and this is the review and process and put things in the right place in the fridge. I'm a visual learner. If I don't see it, I tend to forget it. That's why I need to see that food up front. I need to see what I have. I have to do this weekly. I do this at least once a week, and if I'm doing really great, I have coincided this perfectly with my Walmart delivery. I also find just using the Walmart app and for delivery, I know there's a charge, a monthly membership, but I have known that I save money by using it because I'm not going into the store making impulse buys. All right, the other thing I do and I incorporate is I make sure I look at our schedule for the week. Any weird events might be going on, anything where I need to like throw a quick crock pot meal in. We do go to the office 2 times a week, so those are definitely quick fix meals, or it might be a takeout day. I just want to make sure they're part of the plan though, and making sure that I have the food ready, either what I'm defrosting I always start with home, right? I start shopping at home. I start with the fridge and then freezer and then pantry. I go through and I decide, in the freezer, are there any proteins that need to be defrosted for the week? And I get those out. So I do this whole thing all at the same process. I do all of these steps. So I just kind of went through my freezer. This is everything. And to me, this is actually plenty. There are so many meals I can make with what I have here. We're gonna kind of get most things out of boxes. It just takes up space. You can't see how many you have. For instance, there are 5 left in, okay, they just spilled out. There are 5 left in here, and when you just see a box like that, you tend to think, oh, I've got a whole bunch to feed the family. No, you have 1 portion. So that's why I like to get rid of the boxes. Here's another example of, you think you have a full box of 8 burgers, 8 salmon burgers, and in reality you have 2. So this is gonna end up being a lunch for somebody. This is not gonna qualify as a dinner for the family. And those are things you have to, why this exercise works really well. All right, let me kind of do an assessment and get everything back in there with what I have to use up first, facing forward, and then think about things in the future for my next week's meal plan. So let's do that. Something like this, look at me thinking about things. This would make a great lunch. So you got some vegetables and a nice bowl, and then you got your protein. Actually, I really love that. So that's good. Also, removing these boxes freed up so much space in my freezer. So many reasons why to take it out. Now, if you need the cooking instructions on anything, sometimes usually what I'll do is maybe I'll just peel that off and stick it in the plastic bag if I need to remember how to prepare it. And these need to be cooked to a full temperature, so I'm gonna go ahead and write that on that bag. I got these 2 things, they're not cooked, don't microwave, 165 degrees, and I said on here that they were salmon burgers in case I forget. All right, so very helpful. The next step is I use my whiteboard for putting the menu of the week on here. What I do is based on everything I've seen and everything I've placed Walmart order for, I now know I have a meal plan and I put that here. I know I have items that still need to be used up and I list those here. And then I also have like some frozen items just to keep in mind. Once again, being a visual, I got to see these things. I got to see this board as I walk into the kitchen every day. I know what we're having. It also helps the family, huge. It helps the family know what we're eating and what we have. If my husband's going to help prep a meal, he knows exactly what we're eating that day. Kids don't have to ask what we're having. They see the menu. So everybody's well informed. All right, so that's a huge important step. Along with evaluating our calendar is how I do the meal plan, making sure I know what we need, either a quick fix meal or either an instant meal, a crock pot meal. I know all that based on calendar and based on what we have. 2 key main things for this meal process. Okay, now that I have the sections in the fridge, the sections of the island, my menu planned, and the groceries are being delivered, I am golden. And then if there's time in this whole process, what can I prep now to help me this week? So these are the items I'm gonna prep. Add a frozen bag of broccoli. I'm going to make my favorite quiche. We'll have that for breakfast for our mornings. I'm also gonna prep, I have a little bit of quinoa left. I'm gonna make a bowl out of that with some other broccoli that I'm gonna cook, and I'm gonna make more quinoa, and I'm gonna shred up this chicken to have as my quinoa bowl with some pickled red onions and some cucumbers and different things. I did notice I have this left. This is one of those Boursin cheeses. I think I'm just gonna put that in with the quiche. So use that up. I think that'll be great. The lettuce, I'm really not gonna do much with it except wrap it better so it doesn't touch anything in the refrigerator. And that's my prep stuff. Oh, and tahini. I am gonna make a tahini dressing, so I'm gonna get out the lemons and garlic and we're gonna make a tahini dressing. So that's all the items we're gonna do for prepping. Let's start our quiche. I start with a little avocado oil in a fry pan that's on medium heat, and I'm gonna chop up an onion. You could use shallots for this, but I like onion because I can't find shallots all the time. So shallots or onion to a fry pan, and then add a tablespoon of butter and some minced garlic, or you could use fresh garlic as well. I just get that where the onions are turning translucent, and then I'm gonna add my broccoli. This is frozen broccoli, but you can also use fresh. You do wanna get it where it's cooked most of the way and then finishes cooking in the oven. I'm going to take 6 eggs, put them in a bowl, spray my pie dish, and now my broccoli is cooked, and I'm going to add it to that pie dish. I add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream to my 6 eggs, and I beat that thoroughly until all combined. And now I'm going to take my pie dish with my broccoli, and I'm going to add cheese. Here's where you can be creative. I usually like cheddar cheese, but as you saw, I have this Boursin cheese. I'm throwing that in. You can use any cheese that you have on hand. I'm adding a teaspoon of nutmeg to my egg mixture, whisking that all through, and then I pour that on top of the broccoli mixture, and I make sure I get the broccoli submerged. More cheese on top. That was a triple cheddar blend. And then put it in your oven for 30 to 40 minutes and you have a perfect quiche. It is that easy. Now what else I'm prepping is my quinoa. This was already cooked and I'm just kind of making a kind of like a bowl for work. And I have quinoa, red onions, I'm adding feta on top, and I'm going to put that to the side as I make our dressing. Tahini dressing is 3 tablespoons of olive oil or avocado oil, 3 tablespoons of tahini paste, a squeeze of half a lemon. I would use my juicer, but it is in the dishwasher, so I'm doing this by hand, which is just fine. And then I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. And then also I'm going to finish off my jar of garlic here, the minced garlic, about a tablespoon. A teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and then a teaspoon of honey. I'm adding a pinch of salt, and I noticed my consistency was still a little thick, so I did go ahead and squeeze the other half of the lemon, and I thoroughly whisked that, and now it's perfect. It is able to be drizzled onto my quinoa lunch bowl. A perfect lunch for the office. And now I prepare my broccoli. I'm just taking a vegetable peeler to the stalks, and then I'm going to chop it up, and I'm going to put it into a steamer basket and put it into my Instant Pot along with another batch of quinoa for the week. I'm preparing my chicken, rotisserie chicken. I take it off the bone. This is the only way I know that we will use it up. If it stays on the chicken, we tend not to eat it. So this is perfect for lunches for the week. These vegetables are pretty much ready to go with my chicken that I defrosted. So this came from a charcuterie board off of a party, just kind of things. And I love roasted vegetables. And every time I have a good amount of leftover vegetables, hearty vegetables, I always think, get my chicken thighs, whether they are boneless, skinless, or these actually have the bone in and skin on, which is actually even better for this recipe. It's the sheet pan where those drippings from the skin and the chicken goes onto these vegetables and makes the best flavor, and also crisps up the skin in a very hot oven. It's one of my favorite ways to use up chicken thighs and vegetables. I dump my vegetables onto a sheet pan, and this is where the creativity happens. Get some olive oil or avocado oil, and you can use any herbs and spices. I have chives, cilantro, and fresh parsley. I'm also using garlic salt. I have black garlic, Pampered Chef black garlic, and I also have Cavenders. I use any seasonings I can that I have in my cabinet, and what I want to do is first take the skins and peel them back, get all those herbs and spices underneath the skin. I've even included tarragon for this, and then make sure it is completely coated. There's that Cavenders, and then I'm going to pull the skin back over and do the same with my herbs and spices. The key here is to put it into a super hot oven, 450 degrees, for at least 35 minutes, and this is what you end up with. Take that temperature, make sure you have the perfect temp, and you'll end up with a crispy skin and beautifully roasted vegetables. I would love to hear what you're doing for meal planning, what steps you have in your process. Put them in the comments below. Share with us. Share what you're doing. I would just love to hear. So thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And if you liked it, hit the like button. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. See you on the next video. Somebody tell me what this is. This has got my son's name written all over it. I have no idea. What? I don't know. Too funny. Thanks again for watching. See ya.